Okay, so today we're diving straight into something pretty fundamental for high performance.
Yeah.
Learning how to actually stop thinking.
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it?
It really is. Coach Ed Padalecki poses this question. When were you ever taught how to stop thinking? It kind of lands hard when you realize how much we value constant mental activity.
Absolutely. We're always encouraged to think more, analyze deeper, but Coach P points out the downside, this relentless mental chatter.
That statistic he mentions is pretty stark.
70,000 thoughts a day, according to some research he cites, and like 80 to 90% are basically useless. It's just mental clutter.
Wow, that's a huge energy drain.
Exactly. It fuels stress, feeds anxiety, it causes fatigue, it gets in the way of clear decisions, creativity, all the stuff you need to perform at your best.
So the core message is clear. Overthinking really kills execution.
That's what Coach Padalecki emphasizes. And this is where sports psychology offers some really valuable insights, applicable way beyond just sports.
Right, elite performers are masters at shutting down that
Whoa.
internal noise. They have to be to stay present under pressure.
And the number one tool. Something both Patrick McEwen, the breathing expert, and Coach Padalecki really champion.
Let me guess. Breathing.
You got it, simple breathing. But specifically, as McEwen advises, breathe through your nose, deep into the diaphragm, but keep it light.
Sounds almost too simple, maybe.
It does. But Coach P really unpacks the science behind why it's so powerful. It's about avoiding overbreathing.
Overbreathing, you mean breathing too much. How is that bad?
Well, paradoxically, breathing too much, too shallowly, especially through the mouth, can actually make your body less efficient at using oxygen.
How does that work?
It lowers the carbon dioxide levels in your blood, and you actually need a certain amount of CO2 for your red blood cells to effectively release oxygen to your tissues and brain.
Okay, so breathing more air doesn't necessarily mean more oxygen where you need it.
Precisely. Less usable oxygen can trigger stress, make it harder to focus, and even reduce your endurance. Coach Padalecki really highlights this connection.
So nasal breathing is the corrective then?
That's the idea. Coach P points out that breathing through your nose naturally helps regulate that CO2 balance, better oxygen uptake.
And there's more, right? Something about the nervous system.
Yes, exactly. Nasal breathing tends to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest, or maybe better put here, rest and focuses system.
So it actively calms you down.
Instantly. It dials back the mental noise and sharpens your focus. It's a direct physiological shift.
Okay, that makes sense. So understanding that science, how do we actually use it? What are Coach Padalecki's strategies?
He lays out 3 key ones. First, quite simply, control your breath.
Like consciously manage it.
Right. He specifically recommends a 4-2-6 cycle. You inhale gently through your nose for 4 seconds.
Okay,
Hold the breath softly for 2 seconds.
got it.
And then exhale slowly and completely through your nose for 6 seconds.
Inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6, all nasal.
That's the pattern. That slow, deliberate rhythm is key to shifting out of that fight or flight mode.
I can see how that would interrupt the overthinking spiral, especially in like a tense meeting or before a big pitch.
Definitely. The second strategy Coach P gives us is to engage your body.
Shift focus out of the head.
Exactly. Get out of the mental chatter and into physical sensation. He suggests simple things like notice if your shoulders are tense.
Mine usually are.
Consciously relax them. Or feel your feet flat on the floor. Really feel the contact.
Grounding yourself.
Precisely. It anchors you in the present moment, which naturally quiets the mind because you're redirecting your attention.
Makes sense. And the third strategy builds on that, I assume.
It does. It's about cultivating full presence. Coach Ed Padalecki stresses that top performers don't just happen to be present, they master being present.
An active skill.
Very active. Intense focus on the now, whether it's a critical negotiation or sinking a crucial putt, it eliminates distractions, optimizes execution.
So breath control, body engagement, and full presence.
Those are the pillars Coach P identifies for mastering the art of not thinking when you need to execute.
And he leaves us with a challenge, right? Something practical for today.
Yeah, a challenge for today for everyone listening. 3 parts. First, just take 60 seconds. Close your eyes. Breathe gently through your nose. Just notice the mental noise start to settle.
Just observe. Right.
Second, think about your next big moment. A meeting, presentation, maybe a tough conversation. Before it starts, use that 4-2-6 breath cycle we talked about. Lock in your focus.
Use it proactively.
Nice. And third, throughout the day, try to catch yourself when you fall into those useless thought loops. Just notice it, pause, take one slow 4-2-6 breath, and reset.
Simple, actionable steps.
Exactly. Coach Padalecki's core message is that overthinking is this invisible drag on success. The truly elite know how to think, yes, but just as importantly, they know when to stop.
And the starting point, the anchor for all of this, is your breath.
It always comes back to the breath. Calm the mind, and clarity follows. Peak performance follows.
So here's something to think about, or maybe not think too hard about. Where in your own work, your own life, could consciously choosing to pause the thinking actually lead to better outcomes? Where could not thinking be the smarter move? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We hope this gives you some food for thought as you continue on your journey.